Viewers, recently I got this from my father-in-law. Apparently he had ordered something online and there was a mistake, and due to the difficulty of returning it, he just gave it to me. A dropper seat post. How cool is that? Well, when life hands you dropper seat posts, you make a video. So I'm going to make a video of installing this bad boy. Well, it turns out the dropper seat post is a 27.2 millimeter diameter, the exact same diameter as on this Cannondale I've been working on. So I'm going to install this onto the Cannondale. The first step, of course, is to remove the old seat post, like that. Okay, so now I want to install the new seat post. Before I install it, I want to put a little bit of grease on here, just a thin coating, and run this around. Help prevent galvanic corrosion, everything like that. And there's a minimum insertion line, so I want to make sure that I insert it at least as far as that, and line this up here and slide this in like this, and then I can clamp it down for right now. So I transferred the saddle from the other seat post over to this one, and once you get that, now you can go ahead and adjust the saddle height with the seat post fully extended. And I want to lower it a little bit here, and then also you can make sure that the saddle is straight in there, and then go ahead and clamp this thing down again. Okay, so now I need to install the trigger remote for the dropper post, and fortunately, it has a split clamp, so it'll clamp on there without having to remove everything off the handlebars there. So the placement of this comes down to half personal preference, half practicality. You could actually have it facing this way, or you could have it facing like forward and down. I can install it over here. If I move the shifter over, I could put it over to here. I just have to make sure that when the lever comes down that I actually reach it. It's not going to hit anything. Also, I need to be able to access the screw. The screw goes in the bottom here, so I need to be able to reach it with the tool. So I can install it, but I can always move it later. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe put it over here for right now, and I can come in from the bottom to tighten the screw into place. And the screw takes a 3 millimeter hex tool here. On this particular one, if you have a different dropper post, it might be a little bit different. But let me see, loosen this here a little bit and put this here. And if I don't like it here, I can always move it later. So I think this will work pretty good. So it'll be right there, and I can just reach over and push it down like that. So now I need to work on installing the cable. I need to remove this little plastic cover. It just snaps into place. So I kind of got to carefully just pry it off here, and it just kind of snaps on there. And so the cable is going to connect into here. Here's what it looks like inside there. Now the cable looks like it's just a standard shifter type cable from the end there. Now the end of the cable, the little head of the cable, is just going to go up into this part right up there. And so like this pulls down to pull this little part down there, and that's what releases the seat post to move. And now the little plastic cover here, there's a hole in the bottom there. There's a little slot in there. You're gonna put the cable through that little slot there like this, and then this little cover here is just gonna go and snap into place. Let me see if I get it here. Like that. And so the cable can be able to pull from the bottom like that. Now the seat post came with cable housing, but it's longer than what I'm going to need. So I'm going to have to trim it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test fit it here. Is the cable housing is going to go up into the little mechanism there. And I want a smooth transition going up into there. So what I'm probably going to do is have like maybe some, I have some guides that I can mount onto here. So I'll probably have them mounted along the bottom here. So I'll kind of leave a little bit there, run this up here, and kind of hold the cable in place up here. And then I'm going to run the cable housing up through here. And what fits onto the little trigger here, there's like a little rotating ferrule part here that would fit into here. And the cable is going to go into that. So what I want to do is have enough cable housing so that the handlebars can turn and still have enough housing there to go into this without binding so much. So I think I'm going to cut it right about here, which is, I think, might be slightly longer than I need, but I can always trim it down afterwards. Just like this. And it looks like it's just standard shifter cable housing. So first comes to worst, I could always just get another piece of cable housing here. And I'm going to use an awl to open up the lining in there. And I can take the ferrule off the other end of the cable here and put it on there just like that. Okay, so now I can run the cable into the housing, and then the end of the cable housing is going to seat up into the mechanism just like that. And then I'm going to route the housing up through here, and then I'm just going to let it rest along here for right now. Now this part here is called the rotary ferrule, and it's going to slide into the little trigger remote to where it's actually inserted in there. It can pivot around like this. And then I'm going to feed the cable in through here. And it'll come out over here like this. And then I'm going to seat the end of the cable housing into here, just like this. Okay, so now I need to get the cable mounted into the little remote trigger here, and this can be a little tricky. The cable is going to slide down through a little part in here, and it's going to come out through the bottom of the trigger there. And see this little hole there? There's a little barrel nut that's going to go in there, and see there's a little hole there the cable will go through. This will clamp onto the cable, but it needs to fit into this little part there. Now, inside this little part, there's this little part here that kind of floats around in here, moves back and forth. I need to get it positioned so that there's like a little slot in there, and so I need to get it aligned so that the little barrel nut can fit in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of push it forward with my wrench there, and then slide the little barrel nut in like that. And if I got it into the slot correctly, I should be able to close the lever all the way. If it kind of stops, then I didn't get it into the hole there. So now that I have the little barrel nut in the hole there, I need to get the cable through the hole in the barrel nut and coming out through the bottom. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little 3mm Allen wrench here and put it into the fitting into the barrel nut like this. And I can use this to rotate the barrel nut to try to align the hole with the cable. And I could maybe use a flashlight to slide down, to shine down through there. And so, okay, so I got the cable going down through the barrel nut there. And it's come out through the bottom of the trigger there. And so they'll get it like this. And so now I can close the trigger like this. So now I'm going to pull the cable taut in there, have the trigger all the way closed, and I have a 3mm wrench on one side, and I'm going to use a 2mm wrench on the other side and screw the little clamp closed here on the cable. And so now I should be able to test the remote. So now I push the lever and push the seat down. I let go of the lever, it stays down. I push the lever, it goes back up, and so it's working. Now there's a little guide underneath the lever here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the cable so that it goes over and goes through that little guide just like that. So now I want to trim the cable here, and I want to leave enough cable there that I can put a crimp end on. So just like that. Then I can slide the crimp end on here like this and crimp it on with some pliers. like that. Okay, so I added some cable guides on here. They're held on by zip ties. I tried some adhesive ones, but they weren't holding very well, so I went to the zip ties. I probably could have just zip tied the cable to the top tube, but this is a little bit cleaner. Then I got working drop a seat post, press lever, pop up, works great. Still more work I want to do on this bike. I want to overhaul the head shock on here and do a video of that. If you want to get notified of when that video comes out, be sure to subscribe and click the little bell and you get notification when that comes out. If you haven't seen the video of building this bike, I'll include a link to that in the description down here. It's pretty cool. Anyway, what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. So, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.